She announced, "BTW, your mental health issues are just attention-seeking." In front of everyone. I said, "Interesting diagnosis." When her nursing license got reviewed for practicing psychology without credentials after I reported her medical advice. I, 28 male, need to get this off my chest while it's still fresh. Still processing what went down at my cousin's engagement party last weekend. Quick background, I've been dealing with generalized anxiety disorder and depression for about 3 years now. Got diagnosed after a pretty rough patch when my dad died suddenly. Been in therapy, on medication that works, doing all the right things. Not hiding it, but not broadcasting it either. Just living my life. Enter Felicity, 31. My sister's best friend since college. She's a registered nurse at a local hospital, works in the cardiac unit. Always been one of those people who thinks having medical training makes them an expert on everything health-related. You know the type. Diagnoses everyone's rashes at parties, tells pregnant women what they should eat, that whole thing. So we're at this engagement party, maybe 40 people there. I'm chatting with some relatives when the topic of work stress comes up. I mention casually that I've been managing better lately with therapy helping my anxiety. Nothing dramatic, just normal conversation. Felicity, who wasn't even part of our conversation, literally walks over from another group and goes, "Oh please, Nate, your mental health issues are just attention-seeking behavior. I see it all the time at the hospital. Young men who can't handle normal life stress, so they medicalize everything." The whole patio went quiet. My aunt tried to change the subject, but Felicity doubled down. As a medical professional, I can tell you that half these anxiety diagnoses are just people who want an excuse to be lazy. Real mental illness looks nothing like someone who can show up to parties and hold down a job. I stayed calm. Just said, "Interesting diagnosis, Felicity. Didn't know cardiac nurses were trained in psychiatry now." She got this smug look. "I have a BSN and 8 years of experience. I think I know more about mental health than someone who read a few WebMD articles." Cool, my actual psychiatrist might disagree. But what does she know with just her medical degree and specialization? Felicity rolled her eyes. "Those doctors just want to keep you coming back. It's all about money. If you actually tried exercise and stopped wallowing, you'd be fine." My sister Jamie, 26, tried to pull her away, but Felicity was on a roll. Started talking about how depression is just fancy sadness, and how her generation didn't need all these labels. How I was probably just introverted and using mental health as a trendy excuse. The hosts, my cousin and his fiancé, were mortified. The fiancé actually asked Felicity to leave, which she did, but not before announcing that she was just trying to help, and that someone needs to tell the truth about this mental health industrial complex. That was Saturday. It's Thursday now, and hoo boy, things have escalated. See, what Felicity doesn't know is that I recorded most of her rant. Started recording after her first comment because my therapist had actually suggested documenting situations where people cross boundaries about my mental health. Never thought I'd actually need it. But then Felicity started texting my sister, sending her articles about mental health overdiagnosis and suggesting treatment centers that do behavioral correction instead of enabling. She sent Jamie 32 texts between Saturday night and Tuesday morning. Everything from YouTube videos of some discredited doctor to weird supplements that cure depression naturally. Jamie forwarded them all to me, apologizing profusely. But here's where it gets interesting. In those texts, Felicity was literally giving specific medical advice. Told Jamie to tell me to stop my medication immediately because it was poison. Suggested specific dosages of supplements. Even said she could get me better medication from the hospital if needed. That's practicing medicine without a license, folks, and way outside her scope as an RN. Tuesday, I called my psychiatrist to discuss what happened. She was pissed. Told me that what Felicity did wasn't just inappropriate, it was potentially dangerous and definitely reportable. So yesterday, I filed a formal complaint with the State Board of Nursing. Attached the recording, the screenshots of all her texts, and a detailed timeline. My psychiatrist wrote a supporting letter about the dangers of unqualified people giving psychiatric advice. Even got a statement from the party hosts about what they witnessed. This morning, I got a call from an investigator. They're taking it seriously. Like, really seriously. Turns out this isn't just about her comments to me. Giving specific medical advice outside her scope of practice, especially about psychiatric medications, is a huge violation. The fact that she offered to obtain medications from her hospital? That could be criminal. The investigator mentioned that even if she doesn't lose her license, she'll likely face suspension, mandatory education, and supervision. It'll be on her record forever. Part of me feels bad. But then I remember her standing there in front of my entire extended family, basically calling me a faker and attention seeker. Telling people to stop prescribed psychiatric medication can literally kill someone. Jamie's torn. She says Felicity didn't mean it that way, and is just passionate about health. But she also admits Felicity crossed a line. Haven't told Felicity about the complaint yet. The board will notify her soon enough. We'll update when I have more. Update 1. Welp, the notification hit Felicity's mailbox last week. I know because my phone basically exploded Friday afternoon. First was Jamie calling, crying. Felicity had just called her hysterical because she got a letter from the Board of Nursing about an investigation into unprofessional conduct, practicing outside scope, and potential medication diversion. That last bit? Yeah, remember when she offered to get me better medication from the hospital? The board is taking that very seriously. Like criminal investigations seriously. Then came Felicity's texts. Not calling, texting. Probably knew I'd record calls at this point. What did you do? This is insane, Nate. I was trying to help. You're gonna ruin my life over a conversation? I have student loans. I have a mortgage. Please call me. We can work this out. Didn't respond. Then came the flying monkeys. Her mom called my mom. Her boyfriend texted me saying I was overreacting to a misunderstanding. 3 of her coworkers, who I don't even know, found me on social media to tell me I was ruining a good nurse's career. But here's where Felicity really screwed herself. She went on Facebook and posted this long rant about how she's being persecuted for telling the truth about mental health. Tagged me. In this post, she admitted to everything she said at the party, doubled down on her medical opinions about psychiatric medication, claimed she was being targeted for refusing to participate in Big Pharma's scam, said she offered to help me get alternative treatment because she cared, included that she had access to better resources through her position or professional. Girl basically confessed to everything I accused her of. In writing, in public, the investigator called me Monday morning. She'd seen the Facebook post. I wasn't the only one who reported it to them, apparently. She said, and I quote, "In my 15 years doing this, I've never seen someone hand us evidence like this." But wait, it gets worse for Felicity. Her hospital caught wind of the investigation. Hospitals don't play when it comes to potential medication diversion. They suspended her pending their own investigation. Felicity then did something monumentally stupid. She went to the hospital to explain, and apparently made a scene in the lobby when they wouldn't let her up to her unit. Security had to escort her out. Someone filmed it. It's on TikTok. She's yelling about psychiatric medication being a scam while security guides her out. The video has 200K views. My therapist, who's been following this with my permission, said she's seen people tank their careers before, but this was spectacular self-destruction. Tuesday, Felicity's boyfriend reached out again, begging me to drop the complaint, said Felicity hasn't slept in days, isn't eating, and is spiraling. Said she's already lost her job. The hospital fast-tracked their investigation after the lobby incident and is probably going to lose her license. I actually felt bad for a second. Then he said, "She wasn't wrong though, you seem fine without all those meds." Bro, I'm fine because of therapy and medication. That's literally how treatment works. Told him to stop contacting me. Yesterday, the plot thickened. Another nurse from Felicity's former unit reached out, not to defend her, to thank me. Turns out Felicity had been giving unsolicited psychiatric advice to patients' families for years, telling family members their loved ones didn't really need antidepressants after cardiac events, suggesting they were weak for needing mental health support after heart surgery. This nurse said they'd reported her twice internally, but nothing happened until my formal board complaint opened the floodgates. 3 other families have since come forward with similar complaints. Jamie's devastated. She had no idea her best friend was doing this at work. She's apologized to me about 100 times and cut contact with Felicity completely after the Facebook post. Felicity, meanwhile, has gone from denial to anger to bargaining and seems to be stuck there. Her latest strategy? She's claiming I entrapped her and that she was just expressing opinions protected by free speech. The investigator assured me that free speech doesn't cover practicing medicine outside your scope or offering to divert medications. Board hearing is scheduled for next month. I've been asked to testify. What a mess. Update 2. Holy crap. Just got back from the hearing yesterday. Still processing everything that went down. So remember how I said other families came forward? It was actually 7 families total by the time of the hearing. The board consolidated all the complaints into one massive investigation. Felicity showed up with a lawyer, not a great one, apparently, because even I could tell he looked defeated from the jump. She wore scrubs to the hearing. Scrubs, like she was trying to remind everyone she was a nurse. Bold strategy. I testified first. Played the recording, showed the texts, walked through the timeline. Felicity's lawyer tried to argue that I had goaded her into giving medical advice. The board chair literally said, "How does one goad someone into offering to steal medications from their workplace?" Crickets. Then the other families testified. One woman broke down crying, talking about how her husband attempted suicide after Felicity convinced him to stop his antidepressants following his heart attack. She'd told him he was weak and not a real man if he needed psychiatric help. Another family's son had to be hospitalized for withdrawal because Felicity told them to stop his medication cold turkey. The hospital's representative testified too. Turns out their investigation found Felicity had accessed the medication system for drugs that weren't for her assigned patients 18 times in the last year. They couldn't prove she took anything, but the access alone was a massive violation. When it was Felicity's turn to speak, she imploded. Started off trying to sound professional, talking about her dedication to holistic patient care and her concerns about over-medication in America. But when the board started asking specific questions, she lost it. Miss Felicity's last name, did you tell Mr. Nate that psychiatric medications were poison? I was expressing my professional opinion based on my experience. Your professional opinion as a cardiac nurse about psychiatric medications? I've seen the effects. That's a yes or no question. The psychiatric industry is Miss Yes or No. She went on a rant about Big Pharma, claimed psychiatric medications are a government conspiracy to keep people docile, and actually said, "I swear that mental illness is a spiritual problem, not a medical one." Her lawyer put his head in his hands. The board recessed for maybe 20 minutes. When they came back, license revoked. Not suspended. Revoked. Lifetime ban on reapplication in our state. Referral to the DA's office for investigation of medication diversion. Recommendation that other states be notified if she applies there. $50,000 in fines for various violations. Mandatory reporting to the federal nursing database. Felicity screamed. Actually screamed. Called the board puppets of the pharmaceutical industry and had to be escorted out by security. Her lawyer caught up with me in the parking lot. Not to threaten or anything, to apologize. Said he's been practicing for 20 years and has never seen someone destroy their career so thoroughly. He also mentioned she still owes him $15,000 and he doubts he'll ever see it. But here's the real kicker. Remember that TikTok video of her being escorted out of the hospital? Someone made a follow-up video about the hearing result. It went viral. 2.8 million views as of this morning. The comments are brutal. She's become a meme about when keeping it real goes wrong. Jamie texted me last night. Felicity's boyfriend dumped her, she's being evicted, can't pay rent without a job, and her family is distancing themselves from her. She's apparently been posting increasingly unhinged stuff on Facebook about starting a wellness coaching business to help people escape psychiatric oppression. The investigator called me this morning to thank me for coming forward. She mentioned that based on the evidence from this case, they're reviewing 5 years of Felicity's employment history. There might be more families affected. My psychiatrist said she's never seen such a clear-cut case of someone facing consequences for mental health stigma. She's actually using this case anonymized in a presentation about scope of practice violations. As for me, I'm exhausted but vindicated. My anxiety has actually been better since the hearing. My therapist says it's because I stood up for myself and saw it through. Felicity sent one last text yesterday. I hope you're happy. You destroyed my life because you couldn't handle the truth about your fake illness. Blocked her, but screenshot it first, just in case. Some people really never learn. Final update. Thought I was done updating, but the conclusion to this saga is too wild not to share. Remember how Felicity was going to start a wellness coaching business? Well, she did. Sort of. She started a YouTube channel called Truth in Health with Felicity. Posted videos about breaking free from psychiatric slavery and natural cures. Big Pharma doesn't want you to know. Got maybe 200 views per video, mostly from people watching the train wreck. But then she crossed another line. In one video, she mentioned me by name. Full name. Showed my photo, pulled from social media, called me patient zero of psychiatric industry brainwashing, and claimed I was paid by pharmaceutical companies to destroy her career. She also started selling consultation sessions for $150 an hour where she'd give alternative mental health advice. Literally practicing medicine without any license now. My lawyer, yeah, I had to get one, sent a cease and desist. She ignored it. Then one of her clients ended up in the ER. A 19-year-old kid with bipolar disorder who Felicity convinced to stop his mood stabilizers and try essential oils instead. He had a severe manic episode and crashed his car. Thankfully survived, but spent 2 weeks in psychiatric hold. His parents are pressing charges, criminal charges. The DA from the original medication diversion investigation was already building a case, and this new incident fast-tracked everything. Felicity was arrested last Tuesday on charges of practicing medicine without a license, felony in our state, criminal fraud, reckless endangerment, cyber harassment for the videos about me. She's facing up to 10 years in prison. Her arraignment was yesterday. Couldn't make bail, $100,000. Her public defender tried to argue she was exercising free speech, but the judge wasn't having it. Called her actions predatory and dangerous. Jamie went to the arraignment, said Felicity looked rough. Really rough. Apparently screamed at the judge that he was part of the conspiracy and had to be removed from the courtroom. The 19-year-old kid who crashed, he's suing her civilly too. His lawyer reached out to me about testifying in that case as well. But here's the weirdest part. Felicity's mom called me last week, not to yell or blame, to apologize. She told me Felicity has always been difficult about being wrong, but that this psychiatric medication thing became an obsession after her brother died by suicide 5 years ago. He'd been on antidepressants that hadn't helped him. Instead of processing that trauma healthily, Felicity decided all psychiatric medication was evil. Her mom had tried to get her into therapy, but, well, you can imagine how that went. Doesn't excuse anything, but it does explain the bizarre intensity of her crusade. The mom also told me that Felicity's nursing school is considering revoking her degree retroactively due to conduct unbecoming of the profession. Apparently that's super rare, but her case is that egregious. As for me, I'm doing okay. Therapy's been helpful in processing all this. Still on my medication, still managing my anxiety and depression. Actually started dating someone recently who's been super supportive about everything. The irony? If Felicity had just apologized after the party, none of this would have happened. I probably would have let it go as an awkward incident, but she had to double down, triple down, and keep digging until she hit bottom. Then she got a shovel and kept going. My psychiatrist jokes that Felicity did more to validate the importance of proper mental health treatment than any awareness campaign could have. Still get the occasional message from random people who saw the TikToks or YouTube videos, mostly supportive. A few crazies who think Felicity was right, but they're easy to block. Trials set for next year. I'll have to testify again, but I'm ready. Sometimes when people show you who they are, you have to believe them. And sometimes you have to make sure everyone else sees it too. Thanks for following this wild ride. Take your meds if you need them, see your therapist if you have one, and never let anyone shame you for taking care of your mental health. And if a cardiac nurse tries to give you psychiatric advice, run. Edit. Since people keep asking, yes, I'm in therapy to deal with all this drama too. Even revenge stress is still stress, folks. Take care of yourselves.